Hey guys, what's up? Jordan Orell here, making another video on deep circumcision trauma healing. And today I didn't prepare at all. Not that I usually prepare, but I prepared even a little bit less than usual. Didn't plan on anything I was going to say. And so here I am doing this thing. Just did my video coping with Get Over It. Didn't really like it, so excluded that one from my trauma healing list, even though it was popular. I don't know, I guess it was a good message, but whatever. It wasn't that good of a video. So, yeah. The reason I didn't prepare at all for today is I'm trying to be more efficient and more, not waste so much time that I do most days. Because I'm really broke and I need money and I need to focus on that as well as healing. I thought about actually not doing this today, but I realized that this is way too important. I need to focus on healing and on making money. So I'm focusing on both of those and not letting either ball drop. And yeah, here I am. I'm aware that part of what is really healing is using words. And so I want to do that a little bit here. All the way back to Freud's talking cure. He realized that basically doing talk therapy, which just means talking about the issue that you're dealing with and saying words about it, seems to help, seems to activate catharsis, which is the release of emotions. So actually accessing those emotions through speech, through words, through communication, and accessing those memories and experiences and emotions. And basically a lot of other trauma therapists have realized similar things. A lot of what Freud dealt with was in the Victorian era, women who were sexually abused. And so it was a form of sexual trauma. And yeah, since then we found a lot of what helps with trauma is accessing those memories, accessing your emotions around it, accessing images and feelings and all the disjointed, disoriented parts of yourself that are cut off and what's the word I'm looking for? Disjointed, disconnected. We become, really what happens is we start to dissociate. And so there's all these dissociated parts of ourselves that are kind of floating off and disconnected from each other and from our core self. So yeah, just talking about bringing consciousness through speech can be powerful in itself. And being witness can be useful too. I'm aware that I'm using the camera as my therapist a little bit, and knowing that there may or may not be someone on the other side watching some of this stuff has probably some therapeutic value in itself, but anyone can do this, you guys. If you want therapy, just talk in your camera and post it on YouTube. Would highly recommend. Seriously. But yeah, so what I'm feeling today is just total despair and hopelessness and tiredness. Lack of any kind of progress or movement. It feels like it's interesting. I can see parts of how things have changed, how my goals are a little bit different, how my experience is a little bit different, how my attitude is different, watching my old videos even from just a month ago, which I feel like I haven't done barely anything since then or made any progress since then, but obviously there's been something that's changed. As I look at it, it felt very morbid when I was looking at it. I guess I'm always morbid, talking about going into the depth of it and the darkness of it. Although I feel like now I'm a little bit more oriented and oriented to it in a purposeful way. Perhaps part of the progress I've made, the difference in where I am now is that I just am more sick of it. I'm more fed up with all of the trauma, the pain of all of this. Like I'm so fucking sick of it. I'm really ready to get over it, to move on, to be emotionally healthy, to be able to have good relationships, to be able to enjoy sex, to be able to move on with the other parts of my life that I need to focus on, social anxiety and relationships and money, building, doing more activism, other things that give me a kink in my neck. Like I was facing towards the mic, but if I face straight forward, you can't hear me at all. So, and if I put the mic in front of my face, then it completely covers my face. So I don't really know the solution here. I don't know. Anywho, yeah, I've been doing this for like a couple hours a day for the past week now. And I think part of it may be placebo. It's like, part of me knows after spending that much time, there should be some healing happening. Like I really expect it to be happening. I think that's part of it. I also think the fact that I'm spending so much time on it is normalizing it, is making it like in a way, and realizing it, making it real. There's a strong tendency with circumcision. It's like I feel like it's not real, like it didn't actually happen, like it couldn't have actually been that bad. It's not the same as female genital mutilation. It's not remotely close. Like I'm really not damaged. My sexuality is fine. I can experience it normally. It'll all be good. There's not going to be any problems. There's probably not really that much diminishment or difference in who I am because of it. Really, it's minor. It's just not important in my life, and it doesn't affect me that much, and I just want to deny it and ignore it and push it down endlessly and pretend it doesn't exist. And none of that's conscious. It's like it's just the truth. It's just reality. It's like it really isn't. I'm not pushing it down. It's already down. There's nothing there. Circumcision not a problem. It's not bad. It's fine. I'm making more out of it because I have a victim mentality or something, but it's really actually just me. And that's a very real part of me. It's like I try not to feed that, and I don't, on a deeper level, I don't think I believe that. But it is very deep. It's very ingrained, and it's very real that there's still that denial in me. And so in the past week, at least a little bit, I've come more to the fact that, yeah, I actually am. I am circumcised. I am mutilated. And it's wrecking my life, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to recover from that. And in some ways I may not be able to. And some ways I definitely won't be able to, for sure. I mean, there's huge parts of me that I've lost, and it's like there's a very good chance that I could have been a way better person than I'll ever be if I hadn't had this happen to me. And even if as I'm saying that, I'm like, no, that's not true. It's making me a stronger person. It's making me a better person in other ways. And it couldn't possibly actually done any damage. I mean, it did damage, but it's all going to be compensated for because I'll get better at other stuff. And it's like, there's a strong denial in me that it's actually horrible and that it's actually really very likely permanently damaged me in a lot of ways. And made my life way, way, way worse in a lot of ways. I am circumcised, and it has made my life worse, and it is hurting me. And so I'm trying to acknowledge that. I'm trying to experience everything I experience around it, because I am hopeful too, and I'm trying to be hopeful, and I'm trying to do good, and I am trying to overcompensate or become better in some other way, learn something from it. I really want to attune to myself more. By the way, if anyone is watching this again, I'm giving myself therapy here, so enjoy. Bessel van der Kolk has a great book, The Body Keeps the Score. One of the best books on trauma out there. Bessel van der Kolk kind of was one of the forefathers, maybe the main forefather of modern trauma research and trauma treatment. And so it's a great book. And one of the things I listened to today in the audiobook was about attunement and attachment. And attunement is how in tune our parents are with us in a very visceral way, moment to moment, interacting with our emotions, to our communication. And one of the basically the worst thing that can happen is poor attunement, is your parent being despondent, and that's much actually worse than having trauma or violence inflicted upon you, is non-responsiveness to you. And so, being attuned, having our parents attuned to us, is also how we learn to be attuned to ourselves and our own needs, and moment to moment. I think it's another way of kind of being present, or of being mindful. What's his name? Wrote a book called Mindsight. It's kind of about this. So mindfulness is in a way the same thing as attunement. It's attunement with reality, which is learned from our parents first being attuned to us. So anyways, I really want to develop more attunement to myself and to my life, to my reality, which is kind of being present with myself, to myself. It's kind of just like presence or mindfulness in a way, but I feel like it has more of an entity focus, like, because it's based in attachment theory, and a parent being attuned to their child, which later becomes the child becoming attuned to their significant other, and then their children, or others in their life, or their life. But yeah, it's also attunement to yourself, and attunement to your own experience. And I feel like I could really benefit, like just even right now as I'm saying this, I'm like looking at myself, I'm like experiencing myself, being present with myself, to feel into my experience and just be present with that. And it feels really good having that attention. You know, that's the attention we always want from our parents, is them to just pay attention to us and to play with us, to interact with us, to listen to us, to speak to us, and to have this kind of rhythmic back and forth interaction of consciousness, of that's what love is, I think, to a large degree. And so, yeah, it's like, can I give that to myself right now as I'm talking? Like, even if I just keep on blabbering on about nothing, and right now I'm just talking literally about talking, so there's not anything significant really being said, but as I'm saying this, can I be attuned? I think that's more important than the speech itself, is actually attunement to yourself, or to who you're talking to, that fundamental human relationship, being in relationship, being present with the person that you're with. Something I really want to develop more of. Just because I recognize how important it is, you know. If you know anything about psychology and modern study on attachment's kind of everything. It's kind of the thing. It's like, and so is trauma. Trauma's the other. Trauma, attachment, mindfulness is a big thing right now. I don't know, there's other things too. Those are a few of them. So, developing secure attachment has to do with how well you, I think it's complex. There's probably a lot of factors, but a lot of it's attunement. Is how well your parents are attuned to you and responding in a loving way. And so to have sort of a corrective experience for someone who your parents may not have always given that to you, or it may be interrupted through trauma in some way, through circumcision trauma, through learning about it, or through the initial experience of it. But either way, again, a corrective experience then is, can you calm your nervous system down? Can you get in touch with your own feelings, your own life experience, your body, your soma, which is your body, your psyche, your consciousness, your emotions. Can you feel into all of that? Can I feel into all of that right now? Yes, I am. So then it's also bringing that into I kind of forgot I was here for that for a minute. Circumcision, bringing that into that. And as I'm feeling into circumcision, again, I just open to that. There's a pain there. There's always pain there. If there wasn't any pain there, then I'd go and do something else. But there's pain there. I'm just thinking of circumcision. Feeling my body, feeling my own penis. There's a deep desire to heal myself. There's a lot of actual joy in my experience right now, just from meditating so much, I think, in the past week. I feel really good in my body. I've been taking relatively good care of myself, physically, and health-wise, sleep-wise, food-wise, exercise-wise. Relationship-wise, to a degree, I need to work on that, but I don't have fucking time for it, so Again, just finding that pain in myself, in my lower extremity, my lower half of my universe. Still this lowness, this sunkenness. And so what I do here is feel into that, be with that, experience that, love that in a sense of feel into it, feel empathy for myself, meaning feeling what I'm feeling, experiencing my experience. It's funny, today was the first day I got 0 likes on a video. My last 4 or 3 of these that I put out were getting likes and a lot more views. And it's kind of gone downhill as people realize that I'm continuing to do the same thing of making these absurdly long videos where I don't really do anything. Which was, you can see I'm smiling, it was kind of my goal, my hope here is, I don't know, I have this weird need for people to not like me and to like disappoint everybody. So I actually feel really, really good right now, the fact that no one's liking or watching my videos as much. Yeah. But it's important. It's so important to me to be myself, to do what I need for myself, which is this healing work. I don't really need to post it on YouTube, but I think it's good to show that, to show what I'm doing to people every day, and to have this to look back on in retrospect, so that in the future, when I'm doing something significant, I can be like, hey guys, remember how I did hours a day of healing work to make this happen? Yeah, it's on YouTube, so you can go watch it right now if you want. That's what I think everyone should be doing. My mic is so crooked. It's gonna fall again any minute. I hate this. I need a totally different setup, a different table for this to work on, because this mic stand doesn't actually connect to this table right. Fuck. I just don't want it to fall again. I have to reset it again. But it's going to. Just started listening to Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life on audiobook. Would highly recommend. Seems good. His first chapter is Stand Up Straight with Your Shoulders Back. There's an Akira the Dawn remix of it on YouTube. Watch that. Listen to that. It's all of the JBP wave stuff that Akira the Dawn has made are super inspirational and great to listen to while you're working out or just going through life. Super inspirational. Puts you in the right mindset. So, bringing circumcision to mind. there's a process of finding this in yourself, finding where that is. It's like a neural pattern in your brain. You can actually feel the trauma, feel the like that image of what, or that experience of what your dick is like right now, and how that's not how it should be. And I can actually like feel into that. I can feel this like ache, like deep inside me, in my groin area, kind of is where it feels like it's held, if I had to place it somewhere, but like in a deep cavern there. And just like I know what it should feel like, what a foreskin would feel like, from all the videos I've watched, from all the descriptions I've read. And I know what that's supposed to feel like, and then I know what it feels like for me. And those two images are just like right next to each other, of like, and there's this tension between them of longing, of like what it should feel like and how it doesn't feel that way. And that was a human act, that was a barbaric act of evil that was committed upon me by my parents and by so-called doctor. And so it's again confronting that, and what my life could be and what it's not, and all the feelings about that on a very deep level of actually like feeling into that, where the tension is, confronting it on that level of like, actually, if I was actually looking at it right now, like watching a video of it or seeing it in front of me, or listening to someone describe it, like if I was confronted with that situation, how I would actually feel, and going into that actual feeling, finding that inside me. Where is that reaction in me? Because it's there, it's hiding, it's waiting for something to bring it out. So I'm finding that, I'm digging into that and bringing that to the surface, and then experiencing that, and experiencing that, and experiencing that, and experiencing that, and meditating with that, and going into that infinitely until infinitely, that's a little much, but like way repeatedly, more than I'd ever want to, with consciousness, with presence, with gentleness, with attunement, with breath, slowing down, with bringing a completely meditative state to it until I can completely deactivate. So I could literally have someone right here in front of me telling me about the foreskin and its functions, and poetically in depth describing everything that I'm missing, or watching a video of it, or whatever, and or be watching a video of it happening to a baby. That's a whole other thing, is the actual fact of knowing that it happened to me and having seen videos of it. And so that's another area of deactivation, of going into that physical pain, that violence, that trauma, and being able to have that happening right in front of me, and not have those emotions activated, actually be able to have complete and total control over my own emotional state. So I can activate myself and use my energy in the way that I need to stop this happening on a societal, systemic level, and use that energy in the most zen, intelligent, entrepreneurial, powerful way, rather than like, I'm gonna fight you, I'm gonna fucking beat you up, you baby mutilator. How about stop it from ever happening again to any child throughout time, by changing the fundamental way that society sees children. It's a lot bigger challenge, but it's a lot more worthwhile than beating up baby rapists, even if that is technically an accurate term. It's not. It doesn't win them over. Let's just put it that way, to call them that. And it is possible to win them over. It's completely possible. I don't know if that's the exact best strategy, but that's a thing for later discussion. Again, right now it's finding those emotions and learning to completely be able to manage and control those, so I could actually be working with this all day and not be stressed out and burnt out by it as I have been. So finding that in myself is what I'm doing right now, and actually going into meditating with, experiencing that trauma, that pain at the deepest level that I can. And there's deeper and deeper levels, and that's why this is taking a long time, and it's going to continue to take a very long time, is because it's so insanely deep of a wound. But I'm up for the challenge. Are you? Say yes. Only right answer here. Maybe not right now. Maybe it'll take you some time. It's a long process. You have to be patient, and you have to do it in a way that's sustainable. Do as much as you can do every day. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Maybe it's 3 hours, like I'm trying to do. But maybe it's an hour every week. You do what you can do. And trust that at some level you know what you need for your healing. Starting to get in flow a little bit more. I bet when I've made like 100 of these videos, they'll start to get good. I find myself wondering if I'm generating these emotions, generating this kind of stance and this, like, because it's there so easily. It's like I'm not even just bringing my attention a little bit towards my penis and a little bit towards this issue. It's like there's such an automatic just clenching my teeth and like anger towards it. And I have noticed this tendency in me to sort of disregard and invalidate or question, to put it in a more neutral way, to interrogate, is this a genuine, or am I somehow dramatizing or generating, which isn't totally a bad question. Sometimes we are being too much into the dramatization, to the expression of it, and we're not present enough, we're not attuned enough, we're not bringing enough relaxation and this sort of gentle presence that's needed for healing, and we're just so caught in that the story of it that's going on, and the emotion of it, the overwhelming physical response. But I don't think it's ever that we need to question that response itself, whether it's real. It's just more, whatever is there, we need to bring presence to it. So assume that whatever there is legitimate. Whatever is coming through, whatever pain you're experiencing, whatever physical reaction, whatever emotion, whatever is coming up for you in the moment, be present with that, and just be with that. Be gentle, be attuned, breathe, be with that part of yourself in a very meditative, awake way, bringing the light to it, bringing awareness to it, bringing mindfulness to it, patience, and the desire to heal. And yeah, I think that's my answer to myself, to that question. It's like, is this real or not? It's like, it's not the question. It's like, whatever it is, just be with it. If there's nothing there, then again, dive deeper into that trauma. But whatever's here, be with that, and be with as much or as little as you need to. So not overdoing it, not, I've noticed in the past I've had a very strong tendency to be like, yeah, you got to just go all the way to the trauma and experience it all 110 million %. Like, how horrible can you feel? Which isn't necessarily, that's important, but it may be more sustainable, maybe better to actually kind of go into it slowly rather than like, meh. So yeah, just be with what's here at the pace that you're comfortable with. Go into it as much as you feel is right for you right now, and then you can always lean back, take a break, just be with yourself, be with your breath, and bring that presence to the trauma, to the pain of circumcision. As I'm doing this, there's a lot of different things that come up, a lot of different areas in my life that need something or other. And I'm present with all of those. This isn't just healing necessarily for circumcision. It can be for all aspects of my life that are happening right now. And the main point of circumcision, and kind of bringing myself back to that generally, but whatever's coming up, I just am with that and give attention to that. And some of them are a little bit peripheral to circumcision, but definitely still related. And so I pay attention to those too and kind of see how all of it fits into the puzzle of my life and how it all works together to my healing or not. And just giving myself that time to process everything that's coming through me, assuming that everything has value, that everything has reason for coming through. And it's a really useful frame to have because it may not be true. But our minds are extremely, extremely, extremely powerful. And if we have a frame of something being true, reality tends to conform itself to that, or the way that we think starts to conform to that, and the way that things happen start to conform to that. So if you assume everything coming through your consciousness is there for a reason, eventually it will all be there for a reason. You'll be able to find meaning and a reason for every single thing that is coming up, even if that's just the practice of always assuming that and learning to see it, or your unconsciousness learning to feed you information that's useful to you. But by assuming that, by having that frame, what's coming up is useful in some way, I just need to find how it's useful to me, or need to sit with it, be with it, and assume that some value is going to come from that. I think that's the right approach to meditation and to healing with all that's coming through. Some things that come into your consciousness, by the way, are there to teach you not to pay attention to those things, or to have discernment about what to pay attention to test you or strengthen you in a way. So I'm not specifying how something is meaningful, but the fact that anything that comes your way is workable is another way of saying it. It can be noticed and noticed. Used to sharpen your awareness. the religious significance, that came out weird, the religious significance, the religious significance of circumcision is very interesting. It's a sacrifice. It was for the Jews, the mark that they are the chosen people, God's chosen ones, the chosen sons of God. Cut off the best part of their dick because their rewards in heaven are that much greater. And I mean, honestly, I think that's totally all 100% true and accurate. If you cut off the best part of your body, that level of trauma sure does inspire unimaginable levels of spiritual growth and learning if you face it. It does take away I won't call it a distraction, takes away one form of spiritual communion and replaces it and forces you into another form of spiritual communion. It's the God's ultimate punishment, loving fierceness, loving fierce compassion, or I can't think of any cultural terms that are portraying what I'm trying to say, but sort of love, compassion. Through the most extreme form of violence humanly possible, it inspires, does inspire a lot of things. Perhaps some of the greatest love that could exist by the horror of it. Because to overcome that horror, you have to reach a whole new level of being, of humanity, of something, to be able to overcome that. Cope with that. So yeah, it's my take. I have Handbook of Psychobiography right here, propping my computer up, and what's his name, Erickson. So one thing he discovered is, the greatest men in all of history just so happened to largely have fathers who thought of them as the sort of chosen one. Their fathers raised them and held them as the ones who would do great, amazing things, and held them to extremely high standards and expected the world of them. And that's partly how they became some of the greatest men in history. So again, I'm very fascinated by this complex and the fact that Jews have certainly done some significant things, and that is their religion, is that they are the chosen people, cut off their dicks for it. Specifically, again, the males, and it's a male god. So it's very interesting that we have that thing going on. Alright, well, I know there's so much deeper. This may take a year or two. Honestly, there's so much. It's so deep. That field of dark, deep depression is so... wow. But I have to go make money. It's my life. Circumcision, trauma healing, and making money. Exercise too. That's seriously it though. If you want to donate to me, please give me money. I need money. I appreciate money. I like money. I love money. And if you have extra money or not, please give it to me. I need money. Hope you guys are all doing well. Peace, love, foreskin. Talk to y'all later. Bye.